Yeah, I'm streaming here. It's exactly where we're going to be. So, yes. So, Nadia, actually started with us. Summer of 2020. Didn't have a license. Couldn't really go anywhere at that time anyway, with all the lockdown stuff. But she got pretty dang good at this and started off a little bit slower because she's someone that's like, I'm gonna do my own thing. And then we're like, you should just really follow this. And she's like, okay. And then sold like over 8 grand that week. And Nadia, one of the like something that we really saw her get pretty amazing at was building rapport and really like how she could build relationships with customers and connect with customers beyond just the knives. She got really great at that. And Facebook, huh? Um, oh, okay. Facebook, just utilizing that to fuel her business. And so I'm super excited for her to share some of the things that helped her, in her first summer sell almost $50,000, win a scholarship, her first summer with us and maintaining her business now 6 years later, 7 summers later, as it continues to grow, which is so crazy around her grad programs and working on the events team, and she's amazing. Many of you guys will get an opportunity to meet her on Monday at Margaritaville, so she will be there ready to mingle. So I'm going to hand it over to her. Our little legend, our little Nadia, graduate from Howard University at 18 years old, and just a little rock star. So I'm going to spotlight you, ma'am. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time, not just to be here and witness me not chat to myself, but investing in your business and your offices by just listening to a few tips I have for you this morning. I'm going to be speaking more so about like how to kind of like build relationships, get through some of the awkwardness that there may be as you start to get into referrals and you're like, well, this is kind of I never met you. What am I supposed to talk about? Or even people you may already know. You're like, you're my aunt. Am I supposed to ask my aunt about her family? Like, I'm her family, right? So just whatever situation you may be in, some applicable tips just to help you through. So let's see, just to make sure everybody's really listening. Can I get like a raise of hands if you've done your first demo? Just a
No,
demo
you're good. You keep on yours.
at one point. Okay,
That
awesome.
done
So
my
we're
first
all
demo.
Cutco selling people. Great, great, great. And if you've already done an appointment with a referral, may I see a raise of a hand? Like somebody you didn't know. Okay, look, more than half the call. That's awesome. And I would say that's the part of the job where that's like we
You
talk
turn your
about
knowledge off.
referrals being the gas of your
So
business.
Nadia is a
Yes.
two-time All-American scholarship holder.
Thank you, John. May I mute you
Uh,
just slightly? You can keep speaking my praises, but thank you. So just talking about how to use relationships. So I can also just really briefly touch on rapport because Kathy mentioned it, and rapport is my like bread and butter. Have any of you guys ever heard of Ford when it comes to referrals? Show of hands. You know what? Oh my goodness. Then we have to chat about that at SC1. But I'll give you like a sneak peek that I can totally expand on this at a later time. So one of the first ways, like this is kind of the formula I used and took really great notes, 2020, mostly virtual demos, whether it was my best friend's mom, who I felt I knew everything about, or my best friend's mom's dog walker's sister's niece's sorority sister. Still took notes the same way. I still have my notes from 2020. I use a little formula taught to me by Kathy for first and foremost, the easiest thing to check in with anybody about is typically their family. Hey, mom, how are your kids doing? How am I doing, mom? Am I doing good in this appointment? Just asking people about their family. People are super passionate about their children, and their kids, and their dogs, and their goldfish, and their lizards. So that's the first letter of Ford. It's F for family. O is for occupation. That's what takes up most people's week. If they're not with their kids, they're usually doing that thing to make money. So what do you do for work, Mackenzie? Oh wow. I had a lady at my church. I've known her my whole life. She sells like the swirly part of tile. Like literally the sparkly part of tile. I was like, did you always want to know you wanted to sell sparkly floors? She was like, no, I was an English major in school. So I always ask people like, did you kind of fall into that or is it your family business? Like, how'd you get behind that? And the thing is, you just have to find what's genuinely interesting to you so that you can be genuinely curious. I don't want to give you like a list of questions because it's not an interrogation. It should be a conversation. Maybe you're like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do after I graduate college. Like, just making that network for yourself bigger. Let Cutco be the vessel for your future dreams. R is recreation. So when you're not busy with your kids and you're not busy with work, what do you do for fun? Kathy pointed out my selfie earlier at that cabin. I learned that I cannot ski for fun. I like cabins for fun. I like traveling for fun, but please do not put me on skis again or I'm gonna cry. So what's the fun
You
thing
gotta
for
take the class. You gotta take the class.
I needed the class and there was a teacher shortage. That was actually wrong of them to put me on those skis. So for me, anyone who meets me probably nowadays will see that I'm always carrying a ball of yarn. I'm usually crocheting or knitting. People love to talk about their hobbies. Also, ding, 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 just a little flag here. When you talk to people about their hobbies, this helps you with something later on at the end of the appointment. It helps you with recommendations because instead of the cookie cutter list that we have, that's a great starting point. But now you can say, Dr. Wita, who else do you ski with? Mr. Paul, I know you said you golf 3 times a week. Who are your like best golfing buddies? Because most of the people who will say, oh man, I don't know anybody, you can actually go, wait, didn't you say your son, Jason? He plays travel baseball. We're the other moms on the baseball team. So you're able to actually tailor and customize so that people are like, wait, I never thought about that. I do know 13 moms who spend thousands of dollars for travel base. And then D is for dreams. I always ask people, if you had $1 million, what would you do with it? You'd be so fascinated to hear what your own parents, your family, your teachers would say. If you had $1 million, oh, I would run a charity or this and that. And I challenge people as well to say something that's not just for themselves. Because a lot of people, I mean, if they're nice enough to hear your Cutco demo and maybe don't even know you, they're already kind people. So check in with them and say, like, if you already did your donations to charity and made a foundation, what would you do like $1 million to splurge on you? Oh man, I would do this and that. Maybe they want to make a really nice kitchen. Those gives you really great tips on if people enjoy cooking or not. And you can just learn so much about people. And I've truly made friends even years through the business, people who aren't even technically referrals. I've just met them through sharpening. Now I have people who go, Nadia, I saw that your favorite artist is in town. You want me to help you get tickets? I'm like, yeah. Oh, please. So you never know what that network could be. So that's my little sneak peek on Ford. So again, family, occupation, recuperation, and dreams. And that's applicable to pretty much any Mac you're coming across, or even your own friends. And you might be at a networking for dentistry school, and you might have a really amazing dentist you're looking up to, and you can still apply this framework. That's what I really am so passionate about with Vector, is just having that you can do anything with this. Y'all know the founder of Uber used to do this. Like literally anything. You can apply your dreams with this. So that's another tangent. I should probably have another motivational speak for that. But that's our Ford aspect. Like Kathy mentioned, one of the huge things for me, my first summer in the business, was utilizing Facebook. Show of hands, who has a Facebook account that they've used in the last 60 days? Okay, that's a pretty great showing. I remember when Kathy's mom at the time told me I needed to get a Facebook. And I literally was like, do you need to see my driver's license? I'm 17, not 70. I said, you want my Instagram? I can give you my Instagram. I'm not getting a Facebook. And she was like, listen, Lydia, this is not for you to post selfies about yourself or the newest TikTok. This is for you to help yourself build a foundation for referrals. Are your friends on your Snapchat story 30 homeowners? Do they have jobs? I was like, oh, no. So maybe that's not where we're posting to look for top customers, right? So Facebook is like Disneyland for Macs. They're everywhere. They truly, truly are. People love to post about their families and their businesses, and we love business gifts, y'all. So Facebook has been a really great tool. Just, I can see it's helped me, not just in the business, but with my own personal relationships. Because again, I wasn't getting on Facebook, but now I stay in touch with so many people in my family and people that I see at a show one time a year. Like I get invited to baby reveals of my neighbors at the rodeo. Like such a weird thing, but if I wasn't on Facebook, I'd probably miss out on so much. So remember that Facebook, it's not just for you in this business. It really is for your long-term relationships and success. There's a reason that all these other social media platforms have kind of come and died over the years, but Facebook is still around. It's because grandma and her bingo game, she's never letting Facebook go. So make sure you tie into Facebook, tie into your network. A great first step is like thinking about who you were closest with in high school. Like if that for you is, or any other recent time chunk you've had. So if you just moved from another city, who are your top friends in that city? Who would you first grab coffee with? Just having your Facebook. And then Facebook does this awesome, amazing thing where they recommend other people that you already may know. So I'm someone, especially if I actually still keep my Facebook to people I've at least met or talked to or been directly referred to. I don't just add a bunch of people. You totally can go that route. But for me, again, my Facebook is still my Facebook. So I post about my nephew and I post about my Snapchat and all kinds of things. So keeping Facebook in mind, it's a great place for you to just have a recall. Oh my goodness, that's such and such from fourth grade dance. How is she doing? Boom, friend people. But also, it's a great tool to have your customers use for you. Meaning, after you finish an appointment and you sold some purple scissors, or you sold your rebate free scissors so that you can go to SC1 cost free, how about you take a selfie with Miss Jessie? Hey, Miss Jessie, let's take a photo. And if you don't mind, would you post it on Facebook just so people know what I'm doing? People already may know you. Miss Jessie, friends can go, oh my gosh, that's little Johnny. We haven't seen him in so long. We want to catch up with Johnny. Or they may say, oh my goodness, Isabella, I already own Cutco. I didn't know. Miss Jessie, can you give me an appointment with Isabella? So you never know how you can get the ball rolling. So those are some of my tips for just Facebook, personal networks. I went to a really small school. Like whatever number you're thinking, cut that in half. And then maybe half again. My graduating class was 36. Only 11 of us weren't international students. Our class was yay small. Kathy was like, write the list of your classmates. I was like, I can do the whole class and their siblings blindfolded probably. And then they were like, oh, well, who was in your chemistry class? I'm like, the same people who were in my Bible class, and the same people who were in my history class. So especially if you have a larger school network, you're able to apply that here, of course. But for me, it was just thinking because I went to such a small school, I knew all of my classmates' parents by first name. And I knew all my teammates in younger grades by first name. So just writing that down. And then, of course, my other tip for you is kind of leaning into who already is an established network. Maybe you didn't play sports in school. Maybe you were homeschooled and you're like, my classmate was my brother. A person you can think of is, of course, your family. So a huge chunk of change for me of my first appointments was my mom's sorority sisters. She posted on like her sorority pages that I was doing appointments, and I was able to get a ton of appointments and referrals that way. But they weren't my sorority sisters at the time. So my mom posting that. I had another family friend in Chicago. Funniest story ever, y'all. To this day, 6 years in the game, $500,000 sold. She's probably the only person I've ever met who did not like Cutco. Like genuinely, I think she's getting paid by Henkel's. The lady was like, I will never have another brand other than Hank. I was like, Doctor, like you're getting really upset. Like I'm not threatening you to put Cutco in your home, but I'll say this. Because we had such a great appointment and such great rapport, that lady gave me 15 referrals. Every single one of her referrals bought at least $1,000 from me. And one of the ladies she referred me to got me another $30,000 in business over the years. So I say Dr. Rita is my favorite no ever in the world. And again, even with free Cutco, this is very rare, y'all. This like never, ever, ever happens, just so you know. She doesn't want it. So I find creative gifts to send her. But that means even when people aren't interested in the product, you, Rollins, you, Claire, you, Aaliyah, you guys can be still so amazing, so awesome that they refer you to people who are normal and love Cutco. So keeping that in mind, just find the right people. Just talk, have a conversation. I really set up my appointments When I'm doing a virtual demo, I'm like, listen, we're just gonna chit chat, and at the end, we're gonna talk about the knives because that's how I get credit for this. But being genuinely curious will get you so far. Using Facebook as a tool to help you make connections, remember people, have them remember you. That's also super fantastic. And then, of course, leaning into relationships that you know who are already established. Like literally, we all know that one person who, if you go out to the mall with them or to the amusement park, you're like, how does everybody know you? Like, we just keep bumping into people. Who's that person for you? So use that. And then I believe I've allotted some time for Q&A, unless Kathy, you have any specific questions, or John, do you have any specific questions?
I mean, show Facebook, you're not rushed. Like I mean, you do a lot of really good work with this, and I'd really like to open it up for you guys. So yeah, John, questions and you guys questions on like the things that even I don't know if you're willing to show early. I don't know if it's too far out to like show your Facebook, some of the things you would do as a newer rep or even currently just keeping relationships, keeping connections. But yeah, I'd love to open it up for questions, John.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Nadia, hi. It's so good to
Hello,
see you.
John.
Miss you a
Hey,
ton.
Wendy.
So I guess two questions. So I
Mm-hmm.
remember being a new rep, and you said a word earlier about interrogating, right? For rapport for me was I mean, I used my waiter skills to build rapport,
Mm-hmm.
but beyond that, you're right. Like I felt like rapport it was something like I feel like sometimes my customers just wanted to get to the demo, right? So how do you, the professional that you are, um, like integrate rapport, maybe not just in the beginning of the demo, but throughout the demo. And then my second question is how do you fit Facebook and keeping up with your customers in your schedule? Because I feel like once I'm not it's just you're so consistent with it, right? So is it something that you have a specific day you do it? Do you like every time at the end of the month, beginning of the month? So first question, how do you integrate rapport throughout the
Mm-hmm.
demo and keep both of your customers involved as you were doing more virtual, but now not doing it in person? And then the second question is, do you have like a schedule that you do Facebook or customer engagement and follow-ups, or is it just kind of whenever an idea feels like it?
Oh, thank you so much. Those are both really great questions. So when it comes to
Yes.
integrating rapport, it can especially, y'all can tell, I came here social. I can't say Cutco made me as talkative as I am. I came here like this, and I was guided on how to use it the best way for my business. But if you're watching this right now and you're like, that lady just said 8 million words in 5 minutes. I don't know if I've said it that many words this year or ever. I promise you, there's still an avenue for you to be really strong at rapport and still be you. Because at the end of the day, you should still be you. Now, there's strength in challenging ourselves in doing something new. I don't know if anybody at 8 years old said, yes, I am going to be the best Cutco rep ever. I don't know if any of us had that dream, but you can still be the best you and still be your best Cutco rep self ever. So with rapport, especially if you're not as outgoing and engaging, it's really just keeping it natural. You don't have to be, oh wait, I asked about her dreams before I asked about recreation. Those are some just thought joggers for you so that when you're on Zoom and you're like, what the hecky padeki do I talk about right now, that you're able to refer to. And over time, it becomes more and more natural to integrate those things. But sometimes people are like, yeah, we don't need to really talk about me. Let's just see your presentation, John. Come on, let's get to the show. I always just let people know, especially like I'm thinking about at different stages of who I am in my career. When I was 17, starting my very first summer, I genuinely was curious about people's occupations and what they were doing because I wanted to learn more during COVID. That's like, I just wanted to know more about careers as I was looking at graduating in the next 2 years. Because I've always been passionate about one field, but I'm always open to learning about other fields and knowing who I can call if I ever need something from sparkly tile to help with my roof. I wanted to know. So I'm like, hey, Mrs. Jones, I totally get it. And I actually have already in our time slot today counted in the time for us to chat because I promise you're way more important than knives. And whether it's a old friend you're seeing, I just really wanted to catch up with you first because I mean we're so overdue. How are the kids, by the way? Like, what are they up to now? That's like genuine. And I think it's easier when it's people you already know and you're catching up with them, just letting them know. Like, I'm not just here to take. I'm here to pour into you and be curious into you. So that's my tip when it's people like you already know, like your uncle's like, let's get this song going. And you're like, hey, auntie, I really want to check in with you, see what's going on. And honestly, I've just never known this about you. I really don't know what you do for work. What do you do for work, by the way? And just getting people to talk about what they like to talk about. I can give an example. I had an appointment very early on. She was one of my first referrals. I had this lady, and again, one of my first, she may have been my very first referral. I'm trying to do report, like I'm literally known as the report queen in the office. This lady's like, I already have Cutco. Let's just get to the punchline. And I remember I'm like asking her about her family. It was a touchy subject. Occupation. She just got late. I was like, oh. I gotta find something to talk about with you. And we got to like her dreams and her love for Cutco actually. Like you said, like how do you find rapport like throughout the demo? I was talking to her about how she'd heard about Cutco. And when we talked about the liking versus loving, or do you just cook because you have to? She was saying, I want you to understand something, little one. She said just like that. I am 60 something and I still use my mother's Cutco knives. That's how important Cutco is to me. She said, and she literally was getting teary-eyed. Like this lady was being kind of rude, this little appointment. And then she starts getting teary-eyed on me. She said, my mother never told me she loved me as a child. That was not her style. My mother was Polish. But my mother told me she loved me through food. And I get to use the same knives I grew up with at like 7 that I get to use today. To me, that's love. That's why this product is great. She was like, you can say, like, I literally had a presentation I can show you in just a second. Like, she was like, you're great. I already heard all how great you are. I just want you to understand, like, because I was like, I'm just trying to pay my way through undergrad. She's like, you don't understand how big this is, like what you're connected to. And I was like, whoa. So just being able to take that life lessons, even if someone is like resistant to traditional report and no letter of forward seems to click with them, don't be discouraged because when that natural opportunity comes out for them to speak and to talk about, oh my gosh, I love the color red. I inherited my mom's red KitchenAid mixer. And there's just sentimental things. We have, just be open to it. So be open to the dialogue and the opportunity to have it. And just, I don't know, just be a good listener. As much as I am a yapper, I also did a lot of listening, and still do in every appointment now. And then when it comes to scheduling, my first summer, I wasn't as disciplined with scheduling. I just took in the fun of a new place of Facebook because I didn't have a Facebook. So I would pretty much like just check in after phoning maybe every other day. And then of course, all my aunts were like, oh my gosh, Nadia's on Facebook. So I kept getting messages every day and it'd be like low-key overwhelming for me. So I would do like every other day checking in. When I was in a push, I would always like post the kickoff. And then my mom had and still does has way more Facebook friends than me. So I would just make sure she posted my push kickoff and what I was excited about and an update midway through. And then like whenever we'd leave for like a Margaritaville or for the Renaissance for SE2, oh my gosh, y'all, you're gonna love SE2. Then I'd make sure she'd post for something like that. But I think my very first summer we were like completely virtual. So she would take more of the big posts for me. And then I just kind of did updates and I did a lot of gratitude. Oh my gosh, just so much gratitude. Even now and today, I literally pay someone to help me with my emails and Facebook and market because I'm not Facebook customers with every or Facebook friends with every customer that I have. So I have someone that I hired to write emails and write texts and all these other communication avenues for me. And one of the rules that they're really big on is you shouldn't just be texting people whether it's your mom or just your top customer down the line, sales, 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 sales. Because that's just you asking, asking, asking. I try to give back to my customers. So I literally scheduled a sharpening last week because this lady literally emailed me, Nadia, oh my gosh, I love your email. It was peach themed. I can't wait to try these recipes. By the way, can you check and see if you think I'm due for a sharpening? And it'd been about 2 years to the day. So I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, we can swing by. And I touched up her knives. It literally opened communication, not because I said, you want sharpening, you want a sale, you want this, but because I gave and continued to inform. So the formula they use is inform, inform, inform 3 times. So like value, 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 and then sale. Now, if you are just starting off, your network isn't that big enough that this formula may apply. You can still write this down and keep it in mind for other businesses and other things that you do. Like we all get an email from Fabletics or whoever 80 billion times a day. Like everybody's asking for something in your email. How many people give you something that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to open this up. Like I am excited. And I don't know if like you're like me, when there's certain brands that you get their emails, but you're like, oh, they don't really send coupons like that. You're like, it's time for me to open this email. It's the same thing with my Cutco emails. So my customers are already trained. They celebrate Christmas in July/August, just like I do. They're like, oh my goodness, this is Nadia's July, August email. They're ready for it. So just having that value, 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 and then an ad. So now my Facebook has transitioned more into personal. And when we have really big, surprising things, I'll put it on my Facebook. And then I also do it with my mom. But I do a lot of my customer communication now through text and email, I would say, just to also make it feel more personable. And that's just me now with hundreds of customers who aren't all on Facebook. There was a time when probably 70% of my customers were my Facebook friends, and 70% of my friends were my customers. Thank you so much for that question, John. Did I answer all the way for you? Can you double thumbs up for me? Or if you have a follow-up. Oh, a single thumbs up? Double thumbs up. Okay, thank you. And now, does anyone else have a question in the room?
Nadia, I know you were talking about those emails. I feel like a lot of my emails are very like sales, like, like when you get an email from like Victoria's Secrets, it's like, just coupon or whatever. And it's not as exciting to open up because I'm not getting a lot of, people responding to my emails either. And so, like, what are you doing to make it more, inviting, or what are you putting in your emails?
Excellent question, Isabel. But actually, I realized I didn't fully expand on something. So one of the things I did was gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. So make sure, even if you're not going to take the time, my first summer I did, saying I hand wrote thank you notes and wrote a message digitally to every appointment I had. Like even if they didn't buy, I would thank them for showing up. Because question y'all, how many people have ever had someone not show up to an appointment? Raise your hand. I'm glad it's so few of you, but let me tell you that moment when you're just waiting in the Zoom, really humbling. But for the same group of people I just asked that question, how much more excited were you the next appointment you had and they were right on time and they were like pumped to see you? I was like, oh my goodness. And that genuine appreciation. Thank you so much, Kim, for showing up for your appointment. I just want you to know not everyone does that. So I really appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your day. People love being thanked. Most of the people we work with, y'all, are hard working moms who work all day, come home, and work another 5 to 9 shift. Okay. When you are working with a lot of moms, these are also some of the most underappreciated people ever. Sometimes these people may not have heard thank you in months. Kathy, how many times are my little friends saying thank you right now?
We haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, we're a few years in the game, and so imagine say, Kathy, thank you so much for these 5 recommendations. Like, I know it's not a big deal to you, it's just your sisters, but to me, it truly means so much that you took it some time away from your husband and your busy schedule running your busy business and did this for me. You don't think that's going to make Kathy feel special? And I'm genuinely thankful. So making sure we're saying thank you. So, Isabella, I won't put you on the spot, but how many of y'all, let's just do a self inventory, have said thank you to our customers? Have said thank you. Thank you, mom, for hooking me up with your book club. Thank you so much. They don't have to do that. Not any person we meet, it doesn't matter if they share your last name or blood, has to meet with you on a Zoom call, has to take your phone call. So you should express a level of appreciation because you should be grateful. So just making sure we're thanking people. So, Isabella, it can be just you want my thing I always tell my customers, it's totally okay to say no to this sale or that sale. And I even let them know that if you're not interested in a particular sale, like this year, Christmas in July, because you just bought in May, totally fine. If you'd like, I can take you off this sales emails and then I'll let you know when the next one goes around. That helps because they feel honored and respected for their choices. You feel honored and respected for your time and making sure that you don't feel like you're bothering people. So that's a good way to check in with people, but also not that you're just emailing over and over about sales, but also providing value. So again, I have someone write my emails for me. I'm trying to see if I don't remember what sale point you have to be at. Do you guys know to do the rep portal off the top of your head? Yeah? Is it 50?
I mean, they have their link pretty much out of training now. I don't know about like their portal. And the
Oh, then
Vector
Vector
Impact app.
So through the portal, I don't know if it's the same way for y'all, and I can maybe get you on an update for SC1. There's a way to send your emails. It sounds like that might be however you're doing it as well. Um, can edit emails through Canva. So for some of my clients now, I'm also on our events team, hashtag Go Events. I'll let people know I have a CRM, which is a customer like relationship management system. I don't think those are exact letters, but that's
Yeah,
pretty.
but a lot of that you started later. So I'm thinking about
Yes,
just
I
your
was gonna say I look at people's zip codes or like, oh, there's an event in your area, but I do that because I have so many people. You're not in that point right now. Totally recognize that. But what you can still do is on Vector Connect, you can export your actually if you're not doing that actually was a tangent, made no sense. But you can still use Canva and other resources to make your emails, make them a little engaging. And it can be something as simple as National Knife Day or, hey, guys, whatever your favorite fruit is this summer. Is it peaches? Is it nectarines? Isabella? Whatever it could be. I just did peaches. Sending a recipe about peaches. Hey, Miss Kathy, I know you're super hard at work and probably thinking of different things to make for dinner now that the kids are back from school. Here's a recipe that made me think of my peachy keen customers. Just send a recipe. Not expecting anything from it. And I'll tell you this, people, just because someone doesn't respond to every email doesn't mean that they don't see it, doesn't mean that they're not interested. I'm kind of notorious in the CSP and managers chat for not responding. It doesn't mean I didn't see it. I just don't respond sometimes. I thought I responded in my head. Sorry, Kathy. But it doesn't mean I didn't see it to read it, right? So when Kathy's like, hey, did you actually, when she follows up, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm grateful. Thank you for following up. I did see that. I did send that email. Boom, boom. So just keeping that in mind, you can use just different value and gratitude. And it's okay to be strategic with your gratitude to be before a sale. To say, oh my gosh, guys, making sure you're updating your customers, especially early on in your career. If you are going after an All-American scholarship like I am, I would update people because in my slideshow, I told people, okay, guys, just so you know, I'm currently number 87 and I need to be in the top 25. I don't know how it's going to happen. And people would literally just text me randomly, like, what number are you? Did you beat Susie from Delaware? I'm like, "Ah, no, not yet, but maybe next week." So keeping people engaged. So I would text people like, let's see, hey, Miss Amber, thank you so much for our appointment last week. And you are going to love that trimmer. Just so you know, it may not, again, some of my favorite verbiage because it doesn't seem like a big deal to your customer who just spent $40 on a toupee for a trimmer, but your sale helped me be #1 in my office last week. I beat my best friend by $3. I had that happen. I got to beat Tatamina Campbell by like $6 because of a trimmer I saw. So I told everybody, thank you. Like your sale helped me get on the reports for our office. I got to be recognized nationally. I made it on this leaderboard. So making sure you're just sharing things with people as well, so that they know it's not just Isabella, Cutco rep. It's Isabella, a real person who's working real hard this summer for whatever purpose that is, to pay for school, to buy a car, to help your family, whatever it is. And I also happen to be doing this through Cutco, and you've supported me through that. So that's why we're staying in touch. Did that answer your question at all? Any follow-up there? I'm
No,
sorry.
yeah, that was great. Thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry. I think I rambled there for a second, but I hope you were able to grab a nugget or two there. Claire, was that a question finger? No, it wasn't. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't think you'd see. Anyone else have a question for me as I try? Oh, yes, Rollins. What's up?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. You've been smiling this whole time. I've been looking at yours in Square. I just want you to know most of the
You. So I do have a question.
time.
What have a sample text or note that you send to customers who did not purchase? So just to follow up. So like how long after the meeting do you follow up? And it's not like follow up like asking if they have changed their mind or anything, but I love that the idea of just saying thank you so much for meeting with me. I really appreciated the time that you took. But how soon after the meeting, if they don't purchase, do you send it? And then can you give us a sample of what you tell them?
Yes, for sure. So now I'm trying to think of one that when I was an OG because I've shifted a little because I see mostly Cutco owners right now. But you can thank them. I wouldn't thank them like as soon as the Zoom call's over. Thank you for meeting. Nothing that soon. I think it's when time permits and knowing this shouldn't be your goal here is not that they change their mind and buy a Cutco kitchen. So like let this not be at the end of SC1 when you're trying to get orders. Hey, are you sure you didn't want to buy everything? And that's not what this is. It truly is expressing gratitude. Um, Also, just because I told you Dr. Weed in Chicago, y'all, just because someone didn't buy doesn't mean that they didn't make an impact in your business. How many people have had someone not purchase from Cutco yet, but they gave you 2 names? Has anybody had someone not buy but still give you some referrals? Exactly. So those referrals, again, you never know what that's going to be for your business. So please call those people. But just saying, Dr. Wita, thank you so much again for taking the time. She really is a doctor, taking the time out of your schedule to meet with me. I don't know if you knew this, but all the friends you recommended to me bought. And that was such a game changer. So thank you so much again, just for introducing me to people. Even if the people they introduce you to don't buy directly, but they give you more referrals. You could literally run a business off of the people who don't buy but still get referrals because referrals are the gas of your business. So just keep writing. Just that's how I express my gratitude. Again, it's what's natural for you. Maybe it's you did an in-person appointment and they made you some really good cake. Thank you so much, Sacha, for making some cake. I really appreciated that and your time. So just sharing that with it. Again, I personally try to be strategic with it. Like again, it wouldn't be my priority, but maybe if I was running lower on referrals, some people would be like, "Oh my gosh, I did say I was going to send you referrals, and send you more referrals." That's an opportunity that you may get some additional. So that I almost say is like it's a blessing with the additional things that happen, but it's just almost like good Cutco karma, just to thank people because you never know. They say something in the Black church, like who had the heart to give but couldn't give at this time, right? So just thanking people so that they don't feel bad because they shouldn't feel bad just for not buying, but to show your appreciation for it. So that's my answer in regards to that question.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, my pleasure. Anyone else have a question for me while I try to multitask and pull this back one up? This is pull it up in my first week.
Anybody else?
Anything,
John's clapping
Kathy?
back there.
I was gonna say anything you feel like I've missed that you wish I hammered on for a second more as I try to look
No,
for it.
I mean, I can ask a couple, like, I mean, I know some of the good things to share. I think about you were hitting on the gratitude thing, like every week, when Nadia first started, we would talk about like asking customers, and maybe you can talk about that. Like you got really good at having customers post for you at the end of the demo. And so if you can share anything there, but I know having customers share at the end of each demo, engaging with the post, like what you did to like keep that going. Because on Facebook, if you comment on a picture, you comment on anything, it pops back up, right? And then I know, something I taught you guys back in the day was doing a gratitude post at the end of each week, going through and thanking everybody who helped for the week. And like, hey, thanks for helping me hit this. But just curious, anything else that you can remember? I know it was 7 summers ago,
Which is wild.
from starting off, huh?
That is so wild. I'm like, I really was 17. My mom had to sign my contract. I'm like, throw back. Oh my goodness. It's just wild to think about. It's such a blessing to truly be in this office, learn under you. Oh my goodness. But wow. I can't believe that was like
You're getting old.
I feel yeah. So, don't remind me. It started I'm starting to feel lifting these bins on a Wednesday. Um, but yeah, when I was pretty good about doing my weekly gratitude posts. Hashtag flashback. I have that's something I'm going to try to re-implement as I go for my biggest year this year. But like, I really used to just be like, thanks for meeting with me, A, B, C, D, like whoever I met with that week who had friended on Facebook, especially if they had um wrote a post. I have it, my script from when I was an undergrad. Let's see.
Yeah, because here's and I'll pause this really quick.
Email is my Uh, feel free to edit this accordingly unless you want people to email me about Cutco because I will take a lead, y'all. Or if you did go to Howard University. So I'm sharing this message, we're putting it in a chat, and then just for recording purposes, I'm going to read you this message. Again, this is a message you can share with customers that they can text with people as a heads up message for referrals. But I also had this posted on Facebook. Met a young lady from Howard University who is working with Cutco. She's working very hard for a summer scholarship contest and is looking to do as many as possible this month, this week. You can change that accordingly. Doesn't make sense on the last statement, I can admit. She gets paid just to do a presentation right over the computer, no obligation to buy, and it really helps her out. Blushing emoji. Please contact, I have a Facebook page at Nab Your Knives, or my email if you're willing to help. This my email. If you own Cutco, she can show you all the gifts and accessories and get you great deals on anything for your collection. And then actually, I had a slightly different message for my heads up for referrals. That one said, "Hi, just wanted to let you know that Nadia, my Cutco girl, is paying her way through grad school by Shine Cutco. You don't have to buy, just listen. She gets credit for her scholarship. She's trying to do as many as possible this week. Thought you'd be nice enough to help. She is super sweet." And again, Kathy is totally right in terms of like the algorithm and all that stuff that you're gonna want a picture sent along with this post, whether it's text or Facebook. I find that it's just helpful to know that it's like a real person. Like, wow, look at that Rollins' smile. She looks so great. Oh my goodness. Look how great Amber looks in her UT garb. So I had a cap and gown photo from that I use, and then I also have like a high school graduation photo. And then I had a family photo for a lot of the people who referred through my mom, because even if they didn't know me by face, they'd be like, "Oh, that's Shatola's mom." So it was super easy. So making sure you're using Facebook again, updating people, especially when you are in the throes of like a good old push, just letting people know. Some of the CSPs have totally normalized posting every day. That just wasn't my style because, granted, for my push my first summer, I was working. I don't know if Kathy's ever told y'all this story. I was literally doing demos in Hawaii. I sold in, I think, 45 states my first summer. So I quite literally was doing demos at like 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. I think that gives me a little exit of not posting a Facebook update every day, but I would do a weekly general update of guys. Thank you all so much. It can be a quick little video, just like you do an Instagram video getting Starbucks. You can just make a quick update, post it on Facebook. But people, when they see like a block of text, we're kind of trained to ignore it on Facebook. But when you see a picture or a video, it makes everybody stop and your brain just takes in a lot more details and like, oh, what's that? Like, who's that happy person? Oh my gosh, Susie's posting little old Nadia. What's going on with Nadia? What's she up to? So just keeping that in mind. Those are some of the best tips I can give for y'all. We'll probably be able to at a later time this summer do like more of a goals workshop as well. And that's kind of what my slides are mostly based in. That is also a super helpful way to get tied into your network and also ties into John's earlier question of like, what do you do when people like want to get off the conversation of themselves? Some people aren't super comfortable with like spotlight being on that. They're not used to it. So I like to just really make it a comfortable and engaging environment. But it's always good like for people to know like, hey, it's not just you who I'm like, I just want to know everything about you, but I just want to give you a quick see little look about me. Why am I doing this? Why are we having this conversation? And I felt also that a lot of times after I did do goal sharing, a lot more people were open to, oh wow, like that's why she wanted to know about my kids. She works with kids and she's an aunt. Like, okay, this now makes sense. That makes sense why he was asking me what engineering program I did after college. He's an engineering undergrad. It just makes sense for people and just to make those connections. So stay tuned at a later date for like goal sharing as well. But if you're not already doing some form of goal sharing, you have to. Like you need to be. Because that's what keeps people engaged. That's what has people ask me, Nadia, did you win push? Like I had people text me, did you beat Josh? They were asked by my enemies by name. They were like, what number are you on the report? And yo, when I tell you I got that scholarship, that's another time, Roland. I thanked every person I met that summer for my scholarship. Thank you so much for meeting with me. I won it all. Like I beat hundreds of people and I couldn't have done it without you. So just making sure that you share the win. I'm a big believer, like when you compliment someone, you have to do it because the compliment isn't yours, like it's theirs. And you're just giving them like what's already theirs. It's the same thing with gratitude. Like I'm thanking you because it's like not mine to keep in my heart, in my head. So those are
Last
my
thing I had, Nadia, was with, do you still have your like original slideshow that you
I
used to use or
I
um uh
I can look for it right in a second. Yeah.
yeah, this is something that really helps a lot when you get started, especially those like anyone who's working on like anything that you're excited about gaining or working towards, or how this is going to impact you, the people around you, students, whatever it might be. But the visual of having goals, and then also seeing that like you care enough about it to spend time and put something together. This was something that we had done with Nadia in her first week to really help her connect deeper with customers. Because you can say everything, but they're gonna, one, she talks so fast, and most human beings, like, even if you talk slower, most people don't just remember everything you said. They remember more of what they see than what they heard. And so the pictures allow them to connect deeper and have longer recollection of things you guys spoke about, especially when it comes to you, who you are, where you're going, and what you want out of the business. Those visuals make a really big difference. And this is something that our top professionals, even Andy, who's at over 7 million in sales, still a huge proponent of, walking through with customers who he is, what he's about, what he's working towards, like, so they know who they're helping and supporting. And so Nadia, I don't know if you have anything with that.
Yes. Are y'all able to see this? Thumbs up if you can see
Mhm.
me in teal or in lavender. Okay, awesome. So guys, I actually looked through, this is my personal email. So this was before I even made a work email. This was made my very first month on the job. Granted, I have not looked at this in ages, so I can tell you probably about changes and things that I don't change. I know that already this is something that I've been preaching for years and years that I probably hadn't implemented at this time. Your very first slide should be a thank you slide. Thank you again for showing up to our appointment. It's a little just about me. Again, my family right here. My mom's wearing her sorority colors. So I like to have lots of pictures, and I recommend lots of pictures because no matter who you're speaking with, you can find something to talk about in that photo. So like this is a photo on move-in day at my college. So my brother's there, my dad's there. A lot of people were really connected to my alma mater. So if you're like a diehard Aggie fan, you can be like, look, you know exactly where this is. You can see the dog in the background, or for me, Howard University right in the background. A huge portion of my network is Caribbean. So I have a photo of the Jamaican island with the Jamaican flag on it. For me, I was super passionate, motivated, and driven about winning a scholarship that very first year. And I wanted the people to know that they were investing in my education. So that's why I harped on my education so much. But again, for you, you find what works best for you. So I spoke kind of like just things I kept busy with in high school. You know, like I was the Beta Club president. I was in Model United Nations. I was Jack and Jill's Teen of the Year for my chapter. I was Leader of the Year for my leadership program. And a lot of the people I spoke with were in similar organizations. So they'd be like, oh, I'm a mom in Jack and Jill, or I'm in the National Black MBA Association. I also played sports. So for people who weren't super, okay, let me talk about your GPA, I was like, yeah, I was an outside hitter. I did play, which some awful reason post, even though I'm 5'7". I was on the softball team as a personality house. So there was loads of things to speak about there. I spoke about some of my major accomplishments. Wait, Kathy, did you ever know this was Emma on the slide? Side note? There's Emma. Um, so I graduated from San Jac when I was 16 years old. I'm a published author in the Library of Congress, and I won two the President White House volunteer service awards while I was in high school because of how much community service I did. We still do a lot of community service. So that's something I was passionate about. I told people, this is again before I'd even graduated college. Wow, I was an honors political science major, sociology minor at Howard University in Washington, D.C. But especially when I was talking to people from all over the country, I was like, please don't get it twisted. Houston girl always. So a beautiful photo of Houston and the Be Someone. And just put things that make you smile. Like if you're having a bad appointment and I look at photos like this was before my nephew was born. I like looking at photos of my nephew. It just makes me smile. So my goal is to get my degree. I'm getting my master's degree right now. As you mentioned, I wanted to conduct clinical studies. I'm working with a nonprofit, guys, right now that's helping me do all this. So it's really also awesome to look back and know that how many of my goals I achieved that I was looking at doing my very first summer. As I work with incarcerated youth and foster care children and anyone and everyone at a program right now and literally provide therapeutic services for people. So my goal for that summer was to start studying for the LSAT to begin my senior thesis, which I did write, and I did thank my Vector family on the very first page. And I did graduate debt-free. I graduated so debt-free that Dave Ramsey interviewed me. So that's on some of my slides now, is that I was featured. When people wanted to know this, by the way, go ahead, screenshot this right here. Because whereas you might not be able to take everything off my high school accomplishments, everybody here can take this slide off the Y Cutco. And I can kind of show you how I would do it even now and today. I'm able to say Y Cutco and just show what I've done, but kind of lean on my experience. And you can go ahead and steal this slide right here because this is how it goes. You know, Mrs. Jones, I know after looking at all of that and my sports career and my high school career, you're probably thinking, why the heck is this girl going to talk to me about kitchen products? But I'll tell you why. Because the same like pause you're having, it's the same thing that I want to have an entry or an applications officer. When they're looking at all my other, friends who did congressional internships, I've done congressional internships. I have to think about how to distinguish myself. And I have the opportunity this summer to get to run my own office later on if I'm successful enough. Imagine how that will have me stand out. Running a business for a $250 million company. I get to network over the phone. I'm from a day and age where everybody wants to text and just TTYL. I need to be able to speak clearly and have an impact over the phone. If I want to have a law firm and want to ask people for tons of money for students, for foster care students, or tons of money for foster care students, I have to be comfortable asking for big questions and lots of money over the phone. I want to build my confidence to do so. And I want to make sure that I earn my money for my work ethic. You guys can probably tell just on this call right now, I am a super hard worker. I skipped like 4 grades. I will work my tail off. I'm competitive as heck. I know that if y'all put me in Chick-fil-A today, I would be the best Chick-fil-A employee, running people down, my pleasuring my heart out. But I also would be really sad at the end of the day when I got paid the same amount as the kid who slow walked everybody's order. So for me, I love the Vector opportunity because if I'm willing to do demos at 2 a.m. in Hawaii, I want my pay to reflect that. So that's kind of what my why Cutco slide would look like. And then these are some of my wins so far. So you guys should be seeing some similar stats in your team meetings. So just sharing with people that, oh my goodness, like I was the top #2 rep in the GCK pilot for the campaign. And then another time I was third, just showing people. And you can see like my national rank and my regional rank. I'm in the top 100 for the region and all these amazing things. So sharing that with people. And people don't know how big your office is. So even if you're like, well, I'm not in the top 100 in the region. Are you top 10 in your office? Share that. There's a win for each and every one of you. You can even ask your manager, like, what would you say are some of my wins so far? If you're sold $10,000, y'all are in the President's Club. I know it looks wonky here, but I just put a little golden ticket that I want to get in. I wanted to be in the President's Club. I've been in the President's Club every single campaign of my career. So keeping that in mind, and sharing that. So these were my goals for work for last June, or not last June, June 2020. I wanted to get a scholarship for school. It was really important that I give back to my office. I wanted to become a certified field trainer. If you don't know what a CFT is, make sure you write that down and ask your manager about how to become a certified field trainer, because I can tell you, I had an internship opportunity and they were amazed that at 19 years old, the company literally asked people to come watch my appointment, and it really helped open doors for me. Whatever your next promotion is, I am always going to be hashtag team thermometer. Go ahead and write that down. Hashtag team thermometer. You can ask me at a later date or Google it or ask your manager. You should have some kind of visual aid letting people know where you are. So if your next promotion is $20,000, where are you? If your next promotion is the $10,000, where are you? Letting people know that you're just $7,588 away. And I would make that joke. Just so you know, Joseph, if you'd like, you can totally write me a check for $7,588, 89 if you're feeling wild. And people be like, oh, heavens no. No, I'm kidding, Mr. Jones. I just appreciate your time. But if you do see something that catches your eye, you let me know, okay? And you only spend that much if you want to. So one of my goals was owning more Cutco. At the time of this PowerPoint, I did not own, I owned a homemaker, but I wanted a cheese knife. So saying that you wanted to own more Cutco and just reach my goals faster, because we all know that as you hit the promotion levels, you get a higher chunk of change, a bigger percentage. As a CSP, I make half. I promise you, I love selling half. $20,000 at half is a lot better than it was at 15%. So you get to hit your goals faster. And then at the time, I also wanted to get into the Gulf Coast Leadership Academy. This map is missing the dots, but I had blue dots, I think, in every state I sold, and red dots in the few I hadn't. So you can, again, screenshot this. I believe this is an image I just got off Google, so you can get a better quality one just looking up help me sell in all 50 states. Or Kathy or John or your manager may have.
Yeah, we have it on the
I was
slide.
like, I think I'll have that one. And then also I think I started this, Kathy, you tell me. I really was like, what if I sold to every letter in the alphabet? So you can see this was just my first month, and I had already sold to people with like W first names and V
Yeah, that
last.
was you. That was you.
It was quirky. You're like, you didn't. But it's really helpful. And I found it helped a ton when it came to referrals, because people would literally just scroll down and be like, okay, who do I know who has an O first name or a V or who has an X last name? Do I know an X last name? And they'd look them up. And then I always talked about, and again, even when people aren't in the spot to buy Cutco from you today on this appointment, talking about a 100% free way to help. And again, I would typically show this presentation at the beginning of my appointment. So we're seed planting for referrals the entire time and then writing down the names of the people who were your sponsors. So it's Kathy Wheeler, my tax lady, Miss Willie Jean, all on here as well. Then I would have, at the time we had a Cutco demo link, and I would email this to people and then they would click it when I was doing phone demos, because I started with phone demos before I did Zoom. So that's how early this was. Again, some of the edits that I definitely would have implemented is this doesn't have photos of my nephew because I just realized this was June 2020. He was born August. So I have photos of my nephew that are updated in my current version. I'm trying to think. But if y'all
Awesome.
have any questions about that slideshow, let me know. Or if you're like, hey, I'm in this situation, how could I implement some of your tips? Feel free to ask right now.
All right, awesome. We're going into a phone jam now. Last thing I want to ask you is concerning like going to a conference. Like if someone is on the fence or they're like, I don't know that, I should go to this. Like what did that play in your world? What influence did that have?
For me, I think it goes to a saying that probably many of you have heard, if
He
not
needs to be on
Cutco,
Zoom.
you'll
We're
hear
gonna
it at a
have
later
to go
time.
back. Have to get
Which
on
is
Zoom.
you are the sum of the 5 people around you. I think it's really important in whatever you're doing, whether you are going through Cutco to pay your way through cosmetology school or dental school or medical school, what have you, that you should at least a few times a month be the dumbest person in the room. Or if you're not the dumbest, just being surrounded by people who are a heck of a whole lot smarter in something you are. So,
Oh, you took it
on
off.
some of those photos,
I was having her talk about going to the conference. Right. Oh, sorry, Nadia.
no,
Um,
so on some of those, one second, catch my thought. Making sure that I was with around CSPs like Chris Patrick. He's a Hall of Fame rep. He has sold more knives than everyone on this call, not including Kathy, combined. So that means there's something for me to learn. Now, as a CSP, y'all, conferences, I don't think I've missed a single conference in my career. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm still here today. I now pay for like some of our CSP conferences, thousands of dollars. I travel all over the country to do so because it's an invaluable part of my business. I just went to Tennessee with my coaches who I already pay to learn more, to ask the questions. Because right now, y'all, you see, we're about to go into a phone chain. You may say, like, Nadia, I just want to show you my slides to get some feedback. I don't have that kind of time right here. But if you're grabbing me at a lunch and learn at SC1 or SC2, or you stop by my roundtable and you say, hey, can you talk about after forward, how you expand it into another acronym called RIGHT? That's your opportunity to ask more questions, to get more information, and to learn more. And y'all, when I say at the end of the summer, I know that I can come into a meeting just like this or look at the leader reports. I'm going to know who went to conferences and did it. So, your managers have done this. You can't, it's just a good investment, y'all. And the thing is, they actually make it so easy that all you have to do, I believe right now, because I got the email, is you just have to sell a pair of scissors and at no commission. And that will cover, is that all of it, all of it, Kathy? Yeah, I believe so. And stuff like that with your conference sponsorships, that's another great thing to put in your goal slideshow. Because you may have a Cutco owner who's like, I don't know if I need anything else right now. They're like, wait, if I buy myself another pair of scissors, I sponsor you, that's a win-win. So you never know. But yeah, y'all, with conferences, you definitely, especially these first 2 for a summer, there is nothing like the summer conferences. There's other conferences and other opportunities in the fall and spring for y'all, but I'm gonna be honest, like nothing gets down like a higher baby at SC1 and SC2. And for me, I look forward all year round to SC2. My friend who was in that graduation photo on those slides, she gets excited for SC2. She's like, higher baby, higher baby. She comes to listen to some of our talks. She's a nutritional PhD candidate. She doesn't sell knives at all, and she likes to come learn because she's like, oh, wow, I need to talk about goal sharing when I'm trying to get $1 million grants from the government. So you can apply everything. And truly, as someone who's invested in my business and other businesses I have outside of this company, it should cost way more. it should cost way, way more. All it really does is cost you time and a pair of scissors right now. Like Miss Kathy alone, y'all are so blessed to be learning from her because frankly, you can't afford her elsewhere. Just keeping it real. Like I don't know if I can afford Kathy's speaking rate right now. So to be able to learn from these people, you're doing yourself a disservice. It literally like be Beyonce's walking through the hallways offering free singing lessons, and you're like, no, I can hold a tune. I'm good. Don't do that. Go learn. Okay. So I hope to see you guys at the conference. I will be there myself for SC1. I will be there for SC2. I mean, conferences, you get to learn, be a sponge, soak up everything, take notes. I still have my notes from my first conferences. Keep those.
Well, learn and have fun. You get to meet great people who
You
like
get
you
to
build
have fun,
relationships with and like build
meet
with. So,
people. Yes, for
but
sure.
we gotta
One of the best friends in the world is Angela Wadley. And I have a photo of us at like a parents' night from a few years ago. So you never know who these people are for you. I was in someone's wedding, a former manager mate of mine, just this year. Like you don't know who these people could be to you. I have seen some of my beautiful co-friends getting married. Like you just never know. So come to the conference, meet people, chit chat, have fun. And then let me tell y'all, when I saw my sales after a conference, like I was doing good, y'all. But those conferences made me do great, fantastic, and really helped me distinguish myself. So you'll learn a ton, and I just think there's so much value to be had in it. Come learn if you want to sell more and if you want to make more money. That's what I'll put. You don't want to sell more if you don't want to make more money, stay home.
let's rock and roll. Awesome. Thank you, ma'am.